Welcome
I
back,
hope I'm
Nino.
recording.
Yeah, if not, I'll send you a copy anyway, buddy.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
great to see you. It's been too long.
It's been way too long, man. We've both been really busy. I've been knocking out shows left and right. I had a really interesting discussion with 107 last night. Big things are happening. He's been very busy. He's been very, very busy. And he's going to come on my show next week and discuss what he's been doing. So much so, Charlie, that I'm realizing, you know, everyone says, when are we going to get to the finish line? When are we going to get to the finish line? And last night, after what I discussed with 107, I understand now that how many multiple chess games are being played at that level, and how many, you know, the way it's being played, you know, and how many moves on each chessboard. And the Democrats are really in trouble, from what I see, from what I heard last night. They have problems, and they're cannibalizing each other. They're eating each other alive, and it looks to me like, gosh, if everything works out the way Juan said, it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be better than what Juan said. I can tell you that now. The future is going to be better than what Juan has, because it's way, way better than I ever thought it was going to be. And what's interesting on this whole journey, right at the start of it, I was told that there was going to be a global financial reset. That's what I was told.
Well, that's where the banksters wanted to take us, right?
No.
Okay. Clarify that for me.
There was a global financial reset. Now, this is where we have to be careful on the wording. So the global financial reset is the white hats, the good guys. The great reset is Klaus Schwab and the bankers.
Okay.
It sounds very similar, completely different. And this is how they do it.
Global financial reset is just the reset of the financial system. The great reset is everything starting over.
The great reset is where they take control of your money and you owe nothing and you'll be happy. That was their theory. Right. And to be, they didn't want hardly any Americans, Canadians, Australians, South Africans, New Zealand, Europeans, or British to survive. They wanted mainly Chinese because they're easy, because they'll do as they're told. They wanted to reduce the population by 95%, and the 5% would generally come from China, India, that part of the world, because they're easier to control. That's what they wanted. If they
I've heard the exact same thing.
It's very, very true. That's what the Great Reset was. The global financial reset is to do with the quantum financial system, where we take back our sovereignty. So instead of being corporations individually, we become living souls, living beings. The other thing that's very interesting is you and I, we've learned to make decisions for ourselves. But there's a lot of people that want all the decisions made for them. They're a corporation. They do as they're told. If they're told to wear a mask, they wear a mask. If they're told to wear 3 masks, they have 3 masks. If they're told to get a jab, they have the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and they'll do as they're told. That's what they wanted. But that's not what you and I have ever wanted. We've always wanted to take responsibility for our own destiny. And that's what we're doing right now. And we're educating people to take responsibility for themselves. And as you take responsibility for yourselves, you and I know better than anybody on the planet, we have learned by mistakes.
Yeah, that's how I learned.
Don't be scared to make mistakes.
That's how I learned.
Exactly, same as me. We learn from that, and that's what empowers you. But if you keep making the same mistake, then you're an idiot. But if you make a mistake and learn from it,
I guess I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. You're far from that. You're far from that.
I think a lot of mistakes and the same one over and over.
Oh, I know. And
it usually has to do with women, Charlie.
The things now, the whole reset now is the global financial reset is working now very, very well. And there's a lot of things that were going on that the Black Hats organized. The convoys of lorries was organized by the Black Hats to take down the government so they could run in a one world government. But it backfired because there were supposed to be riots and there's nothing. In Ottawa, there was peace. They were helped clear up the snow. They were helping each other. They were feeding each other. And these the same as the Amish community, the Canadian version, the religious group of people were helping them with fuel, with food, with everything. And it's completely backfired. and they've been allowed to do this to expose themselves.
So what's going to happen now when the Ottawa police, I heard the Ottawa police are going to call in the military. This is going to be bad. This is going to look really bad on Trudeau.
Well, it's already looking bad on Trudeau, because the one thing is if the police have got no reason to call in the military when the chief of police has stated it's been the most peaceful demonstration ever. There's been not one single complaint and not one single arrest. So why you'd need to call in? Well, Trudeau will need to call in the military just to save his own life.
But don't you think they'll need to have a false flag? They're going to have to try to make some kind of a debacle happen, something happen within the trucker community, the convoy, in order to bring in an excuse to bring in the military? I
think God has got this under control. And I think that they're being killed with kindness at the moment. And even when people trucks have turned up with a load of bricks, the lorry drivers have photographed them and made them run away. People have come in trying to incite violence from obviously from the dark side, bringing in trucks of bricks, and the truckers have gone, no, we don't want them. Get out and photograph the driver and the number plate and reported it that these people are coming in. And so the police are fully aware of what's going on, and people are waking up en masse right now.
Wow. So they're trying to create some kind of stir up, some kind of false flag, but the truckers are onto it. Just like, so this really is, Charlie, the Great Awakening happening right before our eyes.
That's exactly what's happening. And we've got the same truckers now in Europe that are huge, heading towards Brussels. And all the truckers in Europe that are heading to Brussels are carrying fuel. So the knock-on effect of that, within 4 days, the United Kingdom will run out of fuel, diesel and petrol, gasoline will be disappeared. That will be gone because all the truckers are heading to Brussels, and it all comes in through Holland into the United Kingdom.
When are they headed to Brussels? Are they headed there right now?
They're on the road now, and we've also.
My gosh.
Jack Kidd is heading with the English lot. They're heading to London from Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. They're all heading down to London, and they're all talking on the old-fashioned CB radio. Yeah.
Hey, I just got a CB put in my truck. I'm hearing after the Ottawa convoy, they're getting ready to go to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, they are. They're doing that.
So Washington, D.C. is shitting their pants. They're saying, no, what are we going to do? Yeah, because they knew what they were going to do with the insurrection with Trump. They knew that they were going to do the Capitol riot. They planned that. My idea is they're running out of cards to play now, Charlie. Yeah, they're in deep shit. They're desperate. They're desperate. Yeah. They're trying anything, especially with the conversation I had with Juan last night. It's genius, man. It's like he said, it's like a tide coming in, and they built their house on the sand, and all the water's coming out and sucking the sand from under the house. Yeah, they're done. They're done.
They're completely done. But we have to remember that what is happening now is actually all pantomime. The reality happens.
Pantomime, Charlie.
Exactly. It's already happened. And this is why nothing can stop what's coming, because it's already happened.
Well, I do have a question. The financial flip or whatever we're going to go, is it going to, the Great Reset, they don't want you to have money. They want everything to be digital. Is that going to be the same with the quantum?
No, with the quantum financial system. And this is something that I'm learning more and more about. It's unbelievable. So we're moving into a quantum consciousness, a quantum world where there will be two timelines. And those that are on the fifth dimension and above will live in a world of abundance and freedom, and out of the taxation system and out of the controlling system of the current government, and will be run under Nasara and Jasara. But those who are stuck in the third dimension will continue to be enslaved and have to pay tax and have to pay loans, etc. And these people will wake up.
So these two systems are going to run side by side.
Side by side, until people wake up from the third dimensional side. And they'll just gradually go for these stubborn people who are just stuck in the third dimension and are not connected to their own consciousness, to their own souls, will be left behind. And some of them will never make it. They'll remain enslaved.
How does crypto relate to the quantum financial?
Right. When it comes to the quantum financial system, for very simple terminology, it works on a DLT, which is faster than blockchain, 10 times faster than blockchain, but it's digital currency. So if I want to send you some money, I can send it to you within milliseconds anywhere in the world. So it's very much the same as cryptocurrency, very much the same. But there will also be USN, United States notes, and United States coins. So there'll still be cash and notes available in the system for a period of time, and nobody quite knows yet how long that will be. But that they will be gold backed or precious metal backed, as with everything. The whole system is backed by gold, silver, and precious metals. So the old fiat currency will completely disappear. And of course, when you look at debt will disappear. Mortgages, credit card loans, anything to do with the bank will disappear.
Taxes?
Sorry?
Taxes?
Taxes completely disappear. There'll only be one tax, and that'll be a value-added tax of around 14% on new non-essential items.
Oh. I remember you saying that. You saying that.
And that's where we're heading to now. And the dismantling of the old system, because they know they're beaten now, but it's a bit like I've talked to you so many times about a boxer when he knows he's beat. That's when he's dangerous, because he's throwing haymakers. And that's what we get now. Haymakers are coming out.
Yeah, my trainer used to always tell me, take your time. When you get someone hurt, take your time. That's when you have to pick them apart a little bit, pick them apart. Yeah. The only time I would jump on somebody is when I would see the wobble. When I would see this, then I'm on them. Yeah. But when you got them hurt and you know they're about to fall, you got to pick at them. So that's kind of the analogy I'm using for where we're at in this.
That's where we're at right now.
How much longer do you think it's going to be to where it's obvious, Charlie?
Well, one thing I've been saying a lot is we've moved out of the year of the ox, which was up until the end of January 2022. The year of the ox is synonymous with the preparation of the land. So for the last year, it's been preparation of the land. We've now moved into the 1st of February, which was the year of the tiger, the water tiger, which is rapid, fast. So things are going to really speed up in February, March, April, May, and June. We're going to see things move very, very quickly now, and that we'll see the collapse happen in plain sight very, very quickly. And we're already starting to see the exposure of Trudeau. It's now, it even hit the mainstream news that he's Castro's son. I mean, it's all creeping out.
Has that hit the mainstream now? That's on the mainstream?
That hit the mainstream yesterday or the day before. And also that they're admitting on MSNBC that the election was stolen in 2020. So it's all falling apart. The one thing I would say is having grown up in a religious cult and been brainwashed or indoctrinated, some of these television presenters believe everything because they're in a bubble with people who are all saying the same shit. So they'll get the shock of their lives. But we've seen the stepping down of Zucker from CNN. We've seen what's her name, Maddow, take a sabbatical.
Well, she's on a hiatus, they're saying. Yeah. But I think it's as plain as day to me. It's obvious to me that these people are being taken down.
100%.
One or two a coincidence, but now, Charlie, we're in the hundreds.
Yeah, exactly.
Thousands, maybe thousands.
The other thing that when you use common sense rather than bullshit, if you look at Joe Biden on the television now from 3 years ago, not the same person. Easiest way is the eyes. Eyes completely different, ears different. And this is just where you have to look at things cynically, critically, and common sense. I speak to Jennifer Arcuri on a regular basis, and she was the one that had a close relationship, let's say, with Boris Johnson. And she says to me, Charlie, that's not the same bloke that's on the telly now. And of course, when you know somebody, if they put a body double in or a clone in, you'd know, especially if you were shagging them. Because you know the silly little things they do.
I saw Saki talking about what side of history are you going to be on, and I'm thinking to myself, you're the one that's in I'm convinced, Charlie, that they're in a fake White House. I think they're on a movie set somewhere in Atlanta. I think they're at Tyler Perry's movie set. Yeah, I think they're at Tyler Perry's White House. That's my my thought on it.
Jen Psaki and Biden have never been inside the White House. Never. Not once. And he's never been inside the Pentagon because they don't let actors in there.
How do these people think they're going to win when they're not allowed in the White House, they're not allowed in the Pentagon? How do they have the arrogance they have?
Because they've got the media.
Yeah, they do have the media.
And this is where the media will now be exposed. And it's only the media that have given them any chance. The media, big tech, and big pharma all together are going to be collapsed. And you look at what Facebook is doing with silencing. You look at YouTube, what they're doing with silencing. Spotify, exactly. All of them they're desperate now. And this is all part of the pantomime to get people to wake up, because most people will go, well, how can Spotify start doing this? And
they're starting. They just took Stu Peters off.
Yeah, it's like
so they kissed Joe Rogan's ass a little bit, but then they're like, you know what? We'll just take the other people down. So they took off Stu Peters, and I'm sure they're going to start taking off everybody else.
I made a conscious decision back in October 2020. I made a conscious decision that I was going to pull away from them all and have my own channel. And now we have our own service. We have everything. And so it's very important that we stay in control of our own destiny. And that's why we did it, so that we are in control. But it also
Charlie, I did the same thing. That's why I have Nino's Corner.tv. I got cyber attacked quite a bit, but now we got some really good techs, everyone on it, and I haven't been hit so hard in the last couple of months, but they're still attempting.
Well, exactly right. And this is war. And there's been a few little things that have gone on recently, like the criticism of General Flynn. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that man is one of the greatest men in our history. I mean, a very special man.
I agree with you on that. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I talked to Jaco about that. Jaco's convinced he's a bad guy. He calls him a baddie. I respect Jaco's opinion. I had Jaco on my show, but I just can't jump on that bandwagon. I tried to like look at all sides of it, but I still think Flynn's a patriot, and I'm just going to stick to that. I feel like they're really trying to infiltrate the patriot movement right now, and there's some bad actors within the patriot movement that are ruffling some feathers and causing some turbulence. I don't really know who they are. I don't know who's who. I feel good about you, Charlie. I feel good about a lot of people. So the best thing that I can do, the way I'm handling this on my platform, is I give everyone a voice and let the audience decide.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was very simple with Flynn. I just asked God, and God told me Flynn was a good man. That simple. Now, when it comes to Jaco, that's his opinion. But once a spy, always a spy. You never know what he's up to.
Yeah,
that might just be to see which side people jump, to see if they're going to stay faithful. And this is what they do. This is part of their life. So I just saw it as like.
So there's always psyops being run.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, he's ex-CIA, so I thought he's the obvious one to do it. So I just hope that same doesn't befall him as Robert David Steele and Kirsten W., because they were also linked to the Secret Services. If you step out of line, they sort of disappear, whether it's to Antarctica or to heaven, I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, I can't believe we lost Kirsten and Robert David Steele. Both of them died in the hospital. I mean, it makes – we all know what they're doing in the hospitals. We know – and this whole COVID narrative is falling apart, Charlie. I mean, we're watching it completely – we're watching the whole narrative fall apart. And as we're witnessing this, they're doing more and more desperate shit. They're playing more desperate moves now, which I say in my morning podcast. I always say they're going to use force some way, somehow. There's going to be more false flags. They're going to try their hardest to steal back the narrative.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that? And what do you think about what's potentially happening in Russia, Ukraine, China, and Taiwan? What's going on with that?
Oh, Russia, Ukraine is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, because What's happening? The black hats are trying to make out, the bad guys are trying to make out that Russia is invading Ukraine. That's a lie for a start. They're not. But Vladimir Putin is very, very clever. He's nobody's fool. While they're talking about it, he's going in there and dismantling the Khazarian mafia who are doing all the child trafficking. So he's got his military in there just taking down the mafia. And you have to understand that Ukraine had a government that was put into place by George Soros. It wasn't chosen by the Ukrainian people. So that will be removed. And of course, they'll blame Putin. I go, oh, he started a war. No, he hasn't started a war. He's just removing the illegitimate, illegal people. And the black hats will be saying, no. He's removing our people. These are the good guys. Bullshit. They're not. You flipped the vote with Dominion. You got in your people. George Soros got in his people. And now all it's being done is returned to the people, what it should have been in the first place. So they'll scream like babies that Russia's invading.
So you don't see Russia rolling in with tanks to the Ukraine and taking over the Ukraine at all.
They'll go in and take out the Khazarian mafia. That's it.
That's it.
As we move into Gassara or Jassara, whatever you want to call it, the independent states of the Ukraine and Russia and Crimea and Kazakhstan, they will all be run autonomously locally. And the whole geographic of the world will change. So, yes, there will be somebody that oversees, and they won't be a president. There'll be a commander-in-chief that oversees that area, but they'll all be autonomous. They'll all work independently, and that will be beautiful.
So this quantum financial, what we're getting reset, that we're getting ready to go into, it's almost the same as the Great Reset, except it's the white hat operation compared to the black hat operation. The black hat operation is slavery, bondage, but they still wanted to bring in a new world order religion, one world currency, all that. But the white hat, on the other hand, but they still want to have the one world currency, right? It's going to be a one world. It's not going to be a one world currency.
No, you'll still have US notes. We'll have euros and pounds, but the values will be the same. They'll be leveled up. There'll be a level playing field of currency, but the currencies will all have their own independence in these places, because it'll only affect the coins. So yeah, there'll still be different currencies around the world. I think there'll be reduced the amount of currencies. I think, for an example, in Iran, Iraq, Syria, Kuwait, the UAE, I think they'll all have the dinar, and they'll, instead of being one-to-one, yes, they'll have the identity of their own dinar for the coins and notes, but they'll be all parity. They'll all be level. And it'll be interesting and great to see. But
these two systems are going to run side by side for, would you say, months, years, decades?
No, it'll. With regard to the quantum financial system, that'll be running for those, for all those that are involved with it. The others will still be enslaved in an old system, and you will see them gradually move across. And it'll gradually, they'll feel out in the cold. They'll feel enslaved. And this will be their penalty almost for not waking up to the truth. They've had the chance to be awake for the Great Awakening, but they've chosen not to do it. And they will live enslaved, but nowhere near to the enslavement that they have been, but they will still be enslaved, and they'll still feel enslaved.
I feel like, the people that opted in and went and got the vaccine, took the first, second, third dose, and I'm including my parents on this one. I just think that their lifespan is considerably shorter now. We're going to be looking at a massive die-off, and they're going to take, well, if they don't die immediately from the vaccine, nothing's going to happen. No, that's not true. We're looking at cancer, sterilizations, heart disease, other things of that nature. I'm having a doctor on my show. I forgot his name. I got to look him up again. But I'm having a doctor on my show that's saying that some of the autopsies that they've done of people that have been vaccinated, they have rubbery veins.
Yep, that's correct.
It looks like a rubber in their veins.
Yeah, you can pull it out in strips.
Yes.
That's exactly right. And the other thing that you just touched on there is infertility. Mm-hmm. Now, I had a beautiful lady on, Sophia, yesterday, who's an IVF specialist, and she said to me, Charlie, we're getting a lot of women come to us, and men with erectile dysfunction, and that's not something that men talk about. because of pride. So for all the men out there that are having issues because of the jab, there are people out there to help you. This IVF treatment, and I said to her, I'm grateful you're doing this, but if you're going to give people IVF treatment, have we got any idea if they do get pregnant, what they're going to give birth to?
Yeah.
And she said, not yet.
Scary.
It is, because not yet, because nobody's conceived yet. But if we do, we all knew from the 1950s what happened with thalidomide. And that was desperate. But you pray to God that people get sorted out. But you're absolutely right. We are going to lose a lot of people, which is sad. But the worst thing is it was avoidable if they'd used common sense. And that's all we ask.
You're not only seeing a lot of buyer's remorse with Biden, you're seeing a lot of people have the vaccine remorse.
Yes.
They're starting to wake up and going, what is this? What's this crap that I'm hearing? I can still get this variant. I'm still going to be COVID positive. I went and got the vaccine. I wanted to have my freedoms back, my liberties back. I went and got the vaccine. But what they didn't know is not only do you not get your freedoms back, but you're probably not going to get your life back.
Correct. And we're now finding that Omicron only comes out in people who've had the third vaccination. So it's a direct reaction to the third jab. It's not actually a virus at all. It's a reaction. They're making out it's a variant, but it's not. It's a complete lie.
I tell you what, Charlie, we're in some interesting times. I mean, I can't, I talked to, Juan told me that we're in this double Jubilee year. I guess that goes with what you were saying about the calendar of we're now in the tiger, right?
Yeah, the tiger.
So he said, he's always said late February, early March, shit's going to really get going.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Feel the same.
100%. 100%. It's already started. Although I can't say more than that, but things are already happening.
Good things or both? It's just going to hit a peak, and it's just going to all
great things, not even good things. Great things are happening, and it's going to get better and better and better. And for those people who've done the preparation and connected with themselves, they'll see it all with clarity. And we're in a very, very wonderful time right now. For me, it's just mega, mega exciting because I know what's going on. We had our largest insider club the other day. So there's a lot going on. We had a lot of fun. The other night, explaining to people that huge things are happening. But it's all positive, and there's always people saying, when's this all going to be over? It'll be over when people stop complying to absolute lunacy and tyranny.
That's why you said that there's going to be two timelines. And I've said this before on my show too. I believe this spiritually. There'll be two timelines in which they're running side by side. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. And those people who got left behind will actually live in a world of regret.
But they can always step back over. They can always go into.
Of course they can.
Right.
But what they have to do, first of all, is connect with themselves and they go through the fourth dimension, which is the lower part of the fourth dimension is not nice because you know that you're in trouble, and the worst part is you're dealing with pride. You fucked up, and so you're the one that was pointing at Nino and I saying you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. These are these people, and suddenly they realize that they were wrong and we were right, and that's going to be very difficult for them. And it's also going to be very difficult for you and I not to slap them around the face and say, I told you so.
And I'm telling you what, I still come across people that support Joe Biden. And to me, I don't know what planet they're living on. I don't understand this. Is it pride? What is it? What's their ego? They don't want to admit they're wrong. But I don't know how anybody could be on board with this guy. And these people still are. A lot of them still are.
I do get it because it's a cult. Anything but Trump.
But they look at Trump. They look at Trump as a cult. They're like, you're part of the Trump cult. I'm like, that's how they look at this shit.
I got accused of that, and I said, no. The only cult I'm part of is God's, and that's not a cult. I'm just one of God's children. That's it. And all my brothers and sisters, whether they're black or white, man or woman, makes no difference. They're my brothers and sisters. And I don't look at the color of a man's skin, or whether they're male or female. I look at the heart, and the heart is the same color with everybody. And when people get all the division is all created by politicians, because you find that most human beings on the planet get on like a house on fire, and their color is completely irrelevant. You've got specific plants everywhere that create trouble.
Charlie, one last question before we get off here. I want to ask you, can you confirm that the gold from the Vatican, the gold from the royal families, all of it has been confiscated? Are you able to talk on that a little bit? Because I've heard that the white hats own all the gold. Is there any truth to that? I have no way of validating that.
100%. 100%. I can't say more than that, but yes, 100%.
Well, that's good enough for me. I mean, I think we got a lot done here, Charlie. I appreciate you.
Look, I love you to death. You've been a warrior right from the start. You've had your ups and downs, and I very often just, when you're doing a live, just hop on and watch you because I love you. And if I ever make a comment, I get trolled to fuck.
Oh, fuck. It's terrible, isn't it?
Oh,
Charlie, we got to do more of these shows. I heard you talk to Jim recently.
I got a message from Jim just now. I love him to death.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a real. He's such a gentleman, such a wonderful, human being. Just a very special man. And I sort of tease him that it's taken him a lifetime to become an overnight success.
No, I mean, Jim, I tell you what, he's definitely a warrior in this fight, and he really put his ass on the line for what he did at the Patriot Double Down, and he deserves all the credit in the world. And I think it's going to pay off for him later. Oh,
it's not. I know it's going to pay off for him later, but it's very interesting because he was talking to David Ian Rogers about healing with what he'd suffered mentally through all the trauma, and it was very interesting that he didn't really want to be healed from the trauma because it gave him a real feeling rather than a made-up feeling as an actor. When he was actually acting, he could actually feel the pain, so he could transmit that message across. And he talked about his own suffering when he was on the cross portraying Jesus. I mean, the man is incredible. And he really, really, we're not talking about body doubles. We're talking about the man doing it himself. He said he suffered a lot, but one wonderful human being, and God has blessed him 100%.
No, he's a beautiful person. He's like a brother to me. And I got to tell you, man, I'm honored to know the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm honored to know you, Charlie.
And you too, buddy. You too.
So let's keep in touch. And anytime you want to do a show, I'm ready, Charlie. Anytime.
Perfect. Good, man. All right. I'll let you get back to your tiger.
All right, Charlie.
Cheers,
Thank you.